to a Hope 1032 podcast.
Hi there. If you are a parent or a carer of a teen who is struggling with their mental health and you just feel at the end of your tether, this is a short gem of an episode with Graeme Cowan. Graeme is a co-founder and a board director of Are You OK? And speaks to audiences around the world. In 2000, he went through a 5-year episode of depression and emerged from this crisis with a different view about how we can increase our resilience, mood, and performance. He is the author of 5 books, including the internationally acclaimed Back from the Brink. A few weeks ago, we were chatting about your work around caring for carers. And you mentioned to me there was a woman who you spoke with who was caring for her partner. And she said something like, I'm just at the end of my tether. And I often get emails from parents or carers who are struggling because they have a teen with a mental health condition and they're helping their teen navigate this mental health journey, but they say something similar. So first, I'd love you to just define the term mental health carer, because sometimes I think parents don't realize they actually fall into that role. They just think, well, I'm being a parent, and they don't realize what they are carrying. And then just unpack for us, how do we support these parents who are the carers?
A mental health carer, is someone who really cares about a young person and wants to make a difference, wants to be supportive. And it can be a parent, it can be an aunt or uncle, it can be a good friend. And don't get too hung up in the definition of, a mental health issue or illness, But it is recognising that you can play a role. As we spoke about earlier, the I Care framework does define that quite well. And I've got a poster that helps people to understand how to move that side of things. But one of the big things that I stress with carers, and I'm actually, doing a session for, a management consulting company, a large management consulting company. They've recognised that a number of their workers are carers, whether it's for a child or a parent, a spouse or whatever, is it's really important for carers to realise that self-care isn't selfish. If we don't care of ourselves, there's no way that we can offer support and patience and guidance for a young person who could be struggling. There's 3 elements that I really talk about in terms of building our personal self-care and resilience. And it comes into 3 categories: vitality, which is our physical health; exercise, eating well, resting well. Second thing is our emotional health or intimacy, and that is our relationships around us. Having caring relationships around us is so important to be able to share your burden, what you're going through as well. And the P is for, prosperity. It's our contribution health. That means for some people that could be the work they do for a charity or a school or a sports team or a church, but it's that sense of contribution. And so those 3 words, vitality, intimacy, prosperity, is VIP. And I tell people that you need to act like a VIP, and that is really thinking each day, how can I top up the vitality glass, the intimacy glass, and the prosperity glass? So carers really need that. My second book, which was called Back from the Brink 2, it was Sane's book of the year, but that was specifically around advice for carers, helping your loved one overcome depression. And that came through my own realisation that I didn't really realise the impact my illness had on my parents and those around me. I really didn't realise that. And I only learnt it through my first book where, I did book signings and talkback radio. And probably the majority of people that contacted me in those sort of forums were the carers, not the actual person.
Yes.
And so when you're going through a tough time as an individual, as I had, I tried lots of things, lots of medication. I had shock therapy. I had, psychology, kinesiology, I had everything. You get the feel at some stage that you've tried everything. And so it's very, very important that, the carers realise that encouragement and support can make a a really big difference, of course, as well as having good mental health professionals. So, yeah, carers have to take care of themselves.
I've worked with Graeme before, and oh my goodness, his calm reassurance is really what so many of us need right now. I'm sure you feel the same. So keep a lookout for a full episode with Graeme in October during Mental Health Month. In the meantime, if you would like to find him, jump on the show notes and go to graemecowan.com.au to purchase his new book, Back from the Brink 2.